parents kicked me out and are now trying to guilt trip me into coming back. Last week, I was kicked out of my family's home for not following the rules and being disrespectful toward my parents. I was sick last week with strep throat, but I honestly think that it was like a cold or something because I felt completely fine and the antibiotics made me feel worse. Not the point here, but I was sick and I stayed home from work because I didn't want anyone else getting sick. I work with kids, and I had this terrible neck ache that was spreading to my head. I couldn't hold my head up without a hand on it to massage the pain. That's how bad we're talking. So I told them that I was staying home because I was sick and they weren't happy about it, but I'm a grown-ass woman, and if I can't work, I'm not going. My job demands a lot of sitting, walking, talking, etc. I couldn't really do much except shuffle around awkwardly with my hands on my neck every 10 seconds. So my dad comes into my room, not even 10 minutes later, and tells me that I am required to help around the house and that I wasn't allowed to have my boyfriend over, and if I wanted to see him, I would have to drive myself over to his house. I told him I wasn't doing anything like that I was sick and in pain and I needed a rest. If I was feeling better and wanted to see my boyfriend, he was most likely going to come here because I can't drive with that pain in my neck being so bad. He argued with me, saying how I'm lazy and started comparing my pain to his and how he still got up and went to work when he wasn't feeling well in the Army. I told him that this wasn't the Army, he's not my drill sergeant, and he needs to let me rest, so please get out of my room. Then my mom comes in to yell at me, saying I have until 11 o'clock to be up and out of bed and ready to help around the house, or she was going to drag me out of bed and force me to do work. I again calmly told her no, I'm not feeling well. I need a rest, so I will be resting for the remainder of the day or until I start feeling better. She then said, no, you're going to be up by 10:45 and you're going to help around the house with all the chores that need to be done. I'll admit I start getting angry here because I raised all my voice and said I am sick with strep. Unless you want strep, I suggest that you please let me rest. She got all huffy and said she would be back at 10:45 to get me out of bed. We'll skip ahead to the end of the day when I started feeling better and I wasn't in as much pain as I was in the morning. I was up and tidying where I sit in the living room to play my video games. I was texting my boyfriend and he said to guess where he was. And I was like, this man is outside my house, isn't he? And I checked. Sure enough, there is his car parked on the street. This is important, trust me. So I go outside to say hi to him for a second. We're both standing out on the street in front of the house, and my BF is massaging my neck a little bit. My dad comes out maybe 5 minutes after I initially did, tells me that my boyfriend has to leave, and he has less than a minute to do so. I asked if he was serious right now, because we weren't even on the property. We were standing on the street. My dad reiterated that he was serious and that he had made a rule and that I needed to follow it. I said his rule was stupid and that I'm a grown-ass woman. My dad said 1 minute and walked away. My boyfriend told me just to stay calm and that they literally can't tell me what to do anymore because I'm an adult. So I go back inside and both my parents try to confront me about my behavior, and I just calmly said no, I don't want to talk to you right now. Boyfriend just came to see how I was doing and gave me a pair of pants, and they said they didn't care that I didn't want to talk. They wanted to talk, and I again said no, thank you. I'm going to bed since I have work in the morning. Good night. They then followed me into the hallway leading to my room and forced their way into my bedroom doorway after I repeatedly told them to please leave me alone. After some arguing, my dad said, we just want what's best for you, but if you don't want to listen, then you need to find some place else to live. And I just stayed silent because I wasn't going to argue. Then my mom shoved her way into my room. She stared, yelling at me to sit down and listen, and I told her no. She pushed me in my shoulder and said, sit your little ass down and listen. And I again told her no. I was already reaching for the phone at this point and trying to call my boyfriend, and she tried intimidating me, saying he's not going to deal with you anymore. He's going to see your true colors, and he's going to bring you back here. I got angry at that, and after calling him, getting into a screaming match with my mom while on the phone with him, she told me, get out. You need to leave. And I punched a wall. She then said, oh my God, we should have her committed. She's insane. I would have laid my hands on her to show her insane, but I'm not one to stoop to their level. It's wrong, I know, but she laid hands first, and she was almost asking for a reaction out of me. Unlike her, though, I have self-control over my emotions. So I packed most of my clothes into different bags and left the house. That was Monday, September 9th, which was also mine and my boyfriend's anniversary. So it makes sense why he wanted to come see me. I've been back once with my cousin to get the rest of my sweaters and the stuff out of a cube organizer. My parents have texted me a couple times asking to talk and hoping that I'm okay and that they miss me, but I've ignored all contact with them unless it was regarding my dog that I had taken with me for the weekend. Now, they're sending family members to check in on me and try to find out where I'm at and try to get my side of the story out of me, but there really isn't much else to tell, and I really just don't want to focus on any of that negativity when I've already started feeling better since I've left. I'm currently looking for a permanent place to live in / near my city so I can be close to work, friends, and school. I am considering starting a GoFundMe, but I don't like asking people for money and would feel terrible doing so. Please give any advice on that topic. Even if it was going to be used for deposits, /rent, /food /bills. Anyway, sorry again for the long post. Thank you for reading if you stayed this long. Update. Hi everyone. It's been a couple days since I posted anything in regards to the situation. This is going to be a long post, so I'm sorry. I realized while reading the original post again that I didn't actually include the way my parents tried to get me back into their house with them, so I'll start there. Please forgive me if this is a little all over the place. I've been very stressed, and my memory in that time is kind of foggy. So about a week after I was kicked out, I went back to the house with my cousin, who offered to help and go with me. We only went to get the rest of my clothes and some other things I wanted to bring with me to my aunt's house. I was still really stressed and not feeling the greatest because of it, and I didn't end up cleaning out what I wanted to clean out from the bins I brought. Anyways, that's off topic. When I want to get all that stuff, my dad let us in and tried to give me a hug, but I didn't let him. Context. They use hugs as a way to kind of get you to listen to what they have to say. They'll hug you and whisper into your ear like, "I'm sorry about all this happening. Please come back / forgive me." It won't happen again. So I don't hug them after fights because I hate dealing with that. So I packed up my things, and as I was packing up, my little brother and cousin were talking about the situation and my brother's school life. He's graduating high school this year, and I work at his high school. Then my mom came home and basically stormed in my old room and looked at us all like sad face before saying hello to my brother and cousin. I didn't get a hello, but for the sake of being polite and not starting anything with her, I said hello very flatly, no emotion behind it. She hates when I do that, BTW. She thinks I'm being an a-hole when I talk like that. She didn't say anything, just huffed and walked away. Both my parents kept coming into the room and staring at me, my dad with sadness and regret in his eyes, my mom with anger. Once I got everything packed away, I asked about the dog and ended up taking him back to my friend's house with me. Side note, Pupper did not like being away from home, and he was so stressed about the situation that he got sick while I was staying with my aunt, so I took him back to my parents' house. He's been doing better since, just very itchy, which is normal for him around this time of year. So I got everything all packed, and then I went to get in the car with my cousin, and my parents tried talking to me several times, and I told them I wasn't ready to talk to them. Yet they insisted, and while I was sat in the car, they came back up, opened the door, which was closed, and started apologizing, saying that they loved me and they missed me, and they've been a wreck since the whole thing occurred, and my mom started saying how she wasn't sure why I hated her so much since she's done nothing but support me in anything I've wanted to do. Her support was just a lot of criticisms when I told her about things I was passionate about. Cosmetology was a big one. I wanted to do hair for a short period of time during the pandemic because that's all I had to keep myself occupied aside for video games. I didn't say anything as they both told me how much they loved me and how they missed me and how they've been a mess / wreck without me there. Anyways, I have the whole things on video, and I really hate that they do that to me. I ended up staying with my cousin's girlfriend that night at her apartment. Then my dad started texting me almost nonstop for the next 5 minutes about insurance things and how they missed me back at home and how it was good to see me and they hoped I was doing well and taking care of myself and how I always have a home with them. So to finish off this update, I'm going to rapid fire what's been going on since then. I went back to my aunt's house to go through all my things and see how I could fit all into my car. I did a damn good job fitting all that in there, TBH. Stayed with my boyfriend for another week to be closer to work and told him about my original post. He agreed with a lot of your guys' suggestions, but said that I need to also take all comments with a grain of salt. BC something that worked for me might not work for someone else, and vice versa. I read him some of the hate comments too, and he got very huffy about people being stupid. I agreed. Ended up moving in with my grandparents temporarily and had my mail flow transferred over there. I did get the mail I was asking for in my last little update. After moving in with grandparents, I sat down with my parents and had a real talk with them. I told them that what they did was wrong, that I am not a child and they had absolutely no reason to treat me the way they did. They shouldn't have forced their way into my bedroom to argue with me. And they should have just let me rest like I needed, because being up and about was not going to make me feel better, especially if I had to entertain or stay off my phone to talk to the aunt I didn't even know was going to be coming over. I explained that I was sick and I wasn't feeling good and I didn't want to see anyone that was coming over because of it. I then told them that they've been doing this for years and they need to understand that it's just not going to work that way anymore, and that they need to be okay with the fact that I'm trying to grow up and they're trying to hold me back. They agreed, and they said that they were sorry if I felt that way. They can see where I'm coming from, and they shouldn't have acted that way. There were some things we agreed on, and some things we didn't agree on in the moment. We've since revisited, since we're on speaking terms now. Regardless, they said that I should give some thought about where I'm going to be staying so I can get to work on time. Talked to my younger brother about what he had sent me, read the text to my parents, and they actually told him that he needed to apologize because he had no right to be saying that to me. He tried fighting back with, "But it's true. She needs a day's notice." And my dad looked at him and said, "Yeah, to show up at the house. She doesn't need a day's notice to ask about mail, dude." And my brother was like oops. So yeah, we apologized to each other and kind of left it at that. We still don't talk much, but we never really have. He wants me to chaperone his homecoming dance, since it'll be pretty cool. IDK about all that yet. Got sick again since I didn't finish the first round of antibiotics. Plot twist, it was strep LMFAO. The doctor gave me something different since the amoxicillin was hurting my stomach and not having the same effect this time around since I've been taking it a lot this year. Been sick a lot, LOL. Saw my boyfriend again for the first time in a week as of this post. I spent the night at his house, and we ended up playing Animal Crossing all night. Did a lot of homework and regular work. Being sick doesn't mean the grind stops. Even if I missed a day or two for actual work and had to leave early the rest of the time, I pushed through as best I could, and I'm proud of myself for that. I still haven't talked to my older brother about the phone call we had where he told me that he can't deal with all this and that if I needed his help, I knew where to find him. He's checked on me once since then, but I only said working since that is what I was doing. So yeah, that's about it for now. I was supposed to hear back from a possible apartment. Never did, so I'm taking the L on that. I'll answer any questions in the comments, and I will finally link all the update posts in my original post comment section. Sorry again for the long post. What you think about this story? Write in the comment your opinion. On my channel, you can watch other revenge or cheating stories. See you soon, my dear viewer.